Hola mi gente, ¿cómo están? Mi nombre es Alba Mar, me pueden decir Alba, el canal se llama Seriela, estamos aquí para hablar de libros, algunos de ellos en español desde Puerto Rico. Hello, my name is Alba Mar, you may call me Alba. The channel name is Seriela, we're here to talk about books and some of them in Spanish from Puerto Rico. Yeah. This will be my last video for a while because I'm going to dive into my reading after all of these tags and videos. I was going to do my very first Friday reads. And as I was preparing, because that's what I do, I gather all my things like a squirrel. I was listening to Greg at Supposedly Fun, I think is the name of his channel. I'll link him down below. And as I was texting him a little message in gratitude to what he was saying about sheltering at home, social distancing, he mentioned me. So thank you, Greg. You're an inspiration, for real. And his message as Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, their messages of kindness really hit home, because I'm all pumped up because last night I got a call. Greg was talking about calling, and a lot of us have fallen out of the habit of calling people. I have to call my aunt in Florida because she's used to that. She doesn't have a smartphone, so I have to call her. She's the last one that I have on my mom's side of the family. And yeah, so, but the rest of us don't usually call, we text. And but I got a phone call from my daughter in New York, and I had been concerned because she has asthma, and she had been working all this week until yesterday. And she works with a co-op of Latin American women who clean houses. And my daughter lives in a community where she has just learned that 100 people have tested positive for COVID-19. How they got tested and where they got the test, I'm not even going to know. I'm just going to concentrate on the positive, that I got to speak to my daughter for more than an hour, strong as always. My children are an inspiration to me, all three of them. And so yeah, and as we were talking, and I calmed down because I was reassured that she's handling the situation very well. We finished off, and she recommended a whole slew of Kdramas to me, which I jotted down in this reconstituted reading journal that I had. All the first tabs are books, but since 2011, the last part has been exclusively for K-dramas. Yeah, and so I bookmarked the page where she recommended at the bottom the new K-dramas for me to watch after I've done all of my reading. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, and I'm ready. I'm ready with my gloves in case I have to go out and do some grocery shopping, though my other daughter, Janita, who lives here, I always get the two names confused, told me that she's doing a call-in grocery, and she's going to pick it up next Monday, that if I wanted to do that, I could do that, except that I don't think I can wait until Monday. But anyway, the last time I went, I used my alcohol on the shopping cart. I put on my gloves. These my daughter gave me. The other gloves that I had that day were the ones that I see in Kdramas that the ladies use while they, ladies and men and chefs, everybody, uses to handle the veggies and the food. Yeah, that's what I used. And I sprayed the shopping cart and everything. Yeah. So I'm ready in case I should need to step out. But we're on lockdown, and it's a little weird because there's a siren. There's a siren that goes off at 9 p.m. every night. And in addition to the siren, we have emergency alerts on our cell phones. And it drives me crazy because I usually walk around with earphones on and or headphones. And the noise is so loud. It almost gives me a heart attack. So, well, I finished the books for the Booktube Prize. I'm a judge for the first round of nonfiction in the Booktube Prize, and I had these books right here, these books, and 2 more that I had on script. So yeah, I filled in my ballot and I voted, and I will talk about them when I can. Now, I would have loved to vlog, but as you know, my phone does not have that capacity, and I don't know if I'm, feeling up to learning the technology for the other stuff. And then the books that I have been reading, this hunkering down and sheltering at home has afforded me the opportunity to delve a little bit more into Memorias de un Patriota Encarcelado, which is about Oscar Collazo, one of our political prisoners who was imprisoned after attacking Blair House in 1950. This memoir is based on the letters that he wrote to his daughter, and that is giving me pause. That is giving me pause because I don't know how much of this is his writing and how much is her writing. So I'm almost halfway through, I think. Yeah, I'm up to here. And he's still in high school. All of this has been his childhood and his family background, and he's still in high school. So yeah, I'm wondering about that. Then this has been a marvelous, marvelous experience. Aftershocks of Disaster. This is a nonfiction book which includes all sorts of articles, essays, poems. One of the poems here made me cry and got me to reach out to the poet on Instagram. Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful compilation. Even has drawings, plays. There are plays in here also. The one that has most caught my attention up to this point, which I highly recommend if you can find it online, is called Our Fellow Americans, written by Francis Negrón Muntaner. Seek it out, people. This is a wonderful analysis of what she calls rhetorical incorporation of Puerto Rico. That constant repetition about our being American citizens. Yes. She tears that up. Highly recommended. Wonderful. Then, on book 5, I finished book 5 and starting book 6 of Middlemarch. And you know that I love George Eliot. Already said. I love her style of writing. I love her use of language. I love her point of view. And this is a depiction of provincial life at that time, 1820s, 1830s, 1840s, in England. I love it because I lived in a provincial town for a while, and I recognize the characters there and the relationships and the squabbles over inheritance. Yes, one of the first things that I noticed when I went to visit my in-laws was how often they would talk about so-and-so who just died, and people are squabbling over the inheritance. That happens here. And who marries who and why. And the small-town politics and how they reflect national politics and things that are happening on a national level and how they reflect on the provinces. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. And then Kim and Sonya, at An Enthusiastic Reader, I will link all of these channels down below, of course, mentioned the fact that, and I had noticed also, there are a lot of references to Jewish people and mentions of rich Jews, for example, the stereotypes. And I remembered that either Judy at Readerwoman or Joe at Joseph Francis Burton somebody mentioned this book, The Jewish Odyssey of George Eliot by Gertrude Himmelfarb. And I got it. Yeah, I know. I've got a problem, people. I know. I recognize it. That's the first step. But I started reading the prologue because I remembered I had this book, dug it out, read the prologue, and had to stop myself because it's so interesting what she says about George Eliot and the Jewish question. That'll be on my TBR very soon, as will Daniel Deronda. I also continued, the mishmash, mixed up of Puerto Rican and other stuff. Continued with Antonia, who was assassinated in on March 4th of 1970. This has all sorts of triggering stuff for me because in 1970 I was studying at the University of Puerto Rico, and I went down a rabbit hole. This has all sorts of photographs from newspaper clippings at that time. That's Antonia. She was an education major on the point of graduating when she was shot by a policeman. Riot squads went through the university and went up the street like sometimes they do, they have done, and they run through Santa Rita Rio Piedra, which is where most of students are housed, and just, go in with their little sticks and in this case their guns, and shot her, and she died. And that's Antonia. But what's triggering is every time the author, who was a fellow student of hers and was present with her, accompanied her during part of that night when she died, he had a crush on her. Every time he mentions the streets and the addresses, and the activities that were happening during that time, I go down a rabbit hole. I even got on Google Maps and to remember the streets where I lived and the streets where I walked during that time. So yeah, that was her mother, Antonia's mother, and her cousin who was with her that night also. So yeah, I'm halfway through practically Antonia, Tu Nombre es una Historia by Hiram Sanchez Martinez, who wrote this after he retired from the bench as a judge. I've continued reading every day, almost, when I'm not filming, Don Quixote. I'm already on part two. I'm still laughing. I'm still laughing my head off at the, right here. Laugh my ass off right there. With the conversations between Sancho and Don Quixote and their ways of seeing the world. Don Quixote is setting out again. They thought that he had gotten better. He's going to stay home? No, he's not staying home. He's going out again. So yeah, that's where we are. This weekend is supposed to be 24 and 48 read along, whatever they're called, readathon. And I'm going to partake, yeah, because there are a lot of things that I want to get read besides those books that I'm in the middle of. Look what arrived. I thought it wasn't going to get here because I got an email telling me that they had canceled my pre-order. So I pre-ordered again just in case, and it arrived. Yeah. I had to break my sheltering at home to go pick it up. I have my daughter and my son-in-law have the best UPS carrier in the world. And he knows that I'm the grandma, but that I live somewhere else. And he will take my packages to their house. Yeah, I love him. Ruben, shout out to Ruben. Yeah, so I have to start this one this weekend. And Toni Morrison, Song of Solomon, which was one of the best reading experiences of my whole life when I was a young mother. And I'm sort of scared in case it no longer is. So yeah, but I'm gonna do this, read that one, and I'm going to finish Wild Swans. I'm going to finish Wild Swans because I want to. I want to know what happens to the Wild Swans. So yeah. Oh! And my Puerto Rican Mystery Madness selection, El Silencio de Galileo de Luis López Nieves. I hope to get to this one too. So it all depends on which one grabs me the most, right? And then I'll stay connected to that one. So, one of the things that has helped me a lot during my sheltering at home, I don't mind staying at home. I love staying at home. But I need variety. And one of the things that helps me out a lot is music, which is why I gifted you with the Danny Boy Fusion Salsa. And if I learn how to put the cards here, I will link that for you because that was fun. I enjoyed that so much, that fusion. Rubén Blades is a 14-time Grammy winner. Yeah. So you're missing out if you haven't heard that. And I will link one of my other favorite salsa to lift up your spirits and get you dancing. Yeah. I think I'm going to do that in all my videos, link up a bit of my favorite music, which is what I used to use YouTube for. I have all sorts of playlists on my YouTube channel for music. Yeah. I have R&B, I have soul, I have gospel, I have salsa, I have world music that I love from all sorts of parts of the world. Yeah, classical music also. Yeah. So that's it, people. This has gone long enough. My first Friday reads. Take care, everybody. I send you my best, especially people with chronic conditions. I keep you in my thoughts, and I hope you and your family members are taking good care. I miss some of the people who are no longer making videos. I wonder how they're doing all the time. So yeah, as an older person, I know that we got to take advantage of our time, people, and keep in touch, as Greg says. So, cuídense mucho, mi gente. Sigan leyendo. Pórtense bien. Los quiero mucho. Adiós.